Hey Beck, where are we at?
San Diego Animal Wild Park.
We're going to the monorail. We're ready to go on the monorail.
So we can see everything clearly.
Hi.
There we go. We're going to make sure we see everything.
No problem.
You don't want to get a wet pack. Behind us now, we're going to start our tour with the largest land mammals, elephants. On the right, we have Asian elephants. We can see Ranjapur, the bull. He's looking over the log wall at his girlfriend. Male elephants in the wild have a solitary lifestyle. They leave the herd as they approach their sexual maturity. That's one of the ways nature prevents inbreeding. They only come back to a herd situation for breeding purposes and then go off on their own again. So elephants actually have what is called a matriarchal society. It's the oldest, most dominant female that takes charge of the herd, and she'll teach all the others what they need to know to get through life. And we have more female Asian elephants up ahead on the right, but we're on the left here going to see African elephants, and probably the most obvious difference is the larger ears. Elephants can stand up to 13 feet at the shoulder. The weight varies dramatically from one animal to the next. They weigh anywhere from about 5,500 to as much as 18,000 pounds. The trunk, which is about 6 feet long, has 100,000 muscles. It's more than you have in your entire body. Really tremendous strength in their trunk. They can carry logs and tear branches out of the trees. They also have amazing dexterity. They could even take a point from the palm of their hand. Trails go into some very pretty areas of our facility, like the conifer forest, the heart of Africa, and the little herb garden coming up on the right-hand side. Now, if you'll just keep looking out to the right, you'll see our largest exhibit, East Africa. The size of our enclosures and the fact that we have multiple species coexisting in each one are a couple of things that make us a little unique among animal facilities. And the way this is set up, we have an opportunity to see quite a few natural behaviors with these animals. Things like herding instincts and territorial disputes. Every once in a while we might watch the bird with new babies, which is kind of a treat. The suspension bridge on the right is part of the Kilimanjaro Safari Walk that I mentioned. And those hiking trails also continue on the left about the area, going to the conifer forest and the botanical gardens. It's really a very pretty walk, and we don't usually run into many other folks up there. Directly ahead of us is our Cat Canyon area. Once we're out on the bridge, we'll see if we can find tigers on the right and lions on the left. Lions and tigers are nocturnal, so they sleep during the day, just like domestic house cats. Look around. Oh, in the center to your left, female African lion. In the center to your left. Please feel free to stand. Beautiful female African lion. Lions are much more social than tigers. They live in communities called a pride that consist of mostly related females. And the females do up to 75% of the hunting. Now, over your right shoulder, all the way back on the right-hand fence, the right-hand side of the train, the right-hand fence line down by the fallen tree, the Sumatran tiger on the fence line. They're the smallest of the tigers, though they do weigh about 300 pounds. And unfortunately, because of poaching and habitat destruction, there's more of them in captivity than in the wild. There's that situation. You have another nice photo opportunity on the left-hand side, right up here by the nose of the monorail. Now, I want you folks to know that Cat Canyon is part of the Kilimanjaro Safari Walk, and we have very nice observation platforms on the back fence line. Anyone that wants to come back and spend more time with big cats, you can do that at your leisure later today. I'm going to continue on now into areas that aren't accessible on foot, so I'm able to point out the species you wouldn't otherwise get to see. Very nice look this afternoon, however, at African lions and the Sumatran tiger. Golden brown animals on the right called Ugandan cob. They're the most common of the African antelope. Ugandan cob. And real close to the fence line here, these are African Cape buffalo. There was more injury and loss of human life attributed to them in the wilds of Africa last year than any other species. So their contented cow appearance is really quite deceiving. These are aggressive and unpredictable animals. Just about 1,800 pounds of very nasty attitude. African Cape buffalo. Another Kodak moment on the left with Brevi's zebras, including a 2-month-old baby. Brevis are the largest of the zebras and have the most narrow stripes, especially around their hindquarters and the base of the tail. Now, when they're in a predator situation in the wild, zebras are going to group together and make their getaway. And what that does, you see, is it causes their stripes to blend together in a confusing pattern, and that makes it hard for the predator to visually single out one zebra. It just looks like a big mass of stripes moving along. So they're actually utilizing safety in numbers, and they hide by standing in front of or behind one another. And you see some more of the Grevy's zebras up ahead of us on the left. But if you take a quick look to the right into our Asian Plains exhibit, we have some rather common-looking brown deer known as Malayan sandbar. Now, what's uncommon about these deer is their swimming ability. Ships at sea have reported seeing them as far offshore as 2 miles. Malayan sandbar. We also have a smaller species. They're white on their undersides, dark on their top side, and have spiral horns. These are Indian black-buck antelope, a couple of males. The male in the lead is younger. He's a lighter brown, and he is being escorted off of the dominant male's property. This is being very politely walked out of Dodge. Indian black bucks. We have more of the Brevy zebras on the left. Quite pretty. Again, irritable and aggressive by nature. A lot of people aren't aware of that with zebras. They fight among themselves quite a bit, and they're very hard on other animals. 15 and 18,000 feet above sea level. These are very high altitude animals, and I always make an effort to point them out to my guests because we have the only ones on exhibit in the Western Hemisphere.
It's like a mule, don't it?
Eastern or Tibetan Kiai. Barasinga to your right, points on their antlers. They're also known as Indian red deer or swamp deer. And they're being joined by the beautiful cattle called the Indian Gaur. The Gaur are endangered. They're also the largest of the wild cattle. And though it may not look like it from here, they average 6 feet tall at the shoulder and weigh some 2,200 pounds. Indian Gaur. We also have a mom and baby Indian rhinoceros. Now, they're sometimes referred to as Asian or greater one-horned rhinos. And what makes them look different from the African species is these have one horn instead of two, and thick folds of skin that look like armor plate. Their skin is somewhere between 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch thick, but it's sensitive to insect bites and sunburn. We have 9 of them in here right now, so we'll be seeing more of those rhinos as we continue on. We have another member of the equine family on the left-hand side. Very usually they're becoming scarce in the wild, and that's a direct result of famine conditions in their homeland of Somalia and Ethiopia. You see, since they've been hunted as a food source, they've estimated less than 1,000 of them. So we're quite pleased to have had 7 born here at the park.
Wow.
Timothy, you look like you'd like to say hello to the monorail. Timothy! Come on, Tim, say good morning. Timothy! No. He's long-winded, this will take a moment. Yes, good afternoon, Timothy. Is that it? Yeah, something smells good down here. Go move the ancestor. Armenian mouflon, and these are ancestors to all the domestic sheep we have today. Unlike domestic sheep that have a woolly fleece, they maintain this short, smooth coat all year round. Armenian mouflon. Now, up ahead of us on the left, and they have a wonderful background story that kind of represents what we're accomplishing with our facility. You see, these oryx were so left in the available gene pool for breeding purposes. Six of them. And since we've been breeding the species, we've had almost 300 babies born here. Well, along with other animal facilities concerned for their survival, over the course of the years, we've also been sending them back to their native homelands, where they're finally being protected. I want you to know that they estimate over 1,500 of them presently, and they're in their 4th breeding generation in the wild again. And this is quite an accomplishment when you start with a gene pool of 9 animals. Wonderful success story with the Arabian oryx. Now, let me drift back just a little bit here. You folks that are up here by me, below the right-hand fence, she is trying to entice Rabha, the male, inside. Rob's kind of just ignoring her, eating his lunch there in the back corner. The reason that we have Rob in here and not out with the girls right now is quite simply he's been taking his job very, very seriously. He now holds the distinction of being the most prolific breeding rhinoceros in captivity. We're thrilled that the situation is going so well that we've actually had to separate Rob from the girls to cool his jets a little bit. So the whole process now. So he's going to be in here for a little while. When I mention, the breeding of these animals, I also feel it's important to let my guests know that the San Diego Zoo and Wild Animal Park are affiliated with what's called the Species Survival Plan, or SSP. Not all animal facilities are. Those of us with SSP, however, enter our stock into a central computer with their identification numbers, and then we share the gene pool and stud records back and forth worldwide. This, of course, gives us some control over the bloodline so we can prevent inbreeding. Very, very hazy off to your right, but you can see the mountains out far into the San Pasqual Valley. And the valley itself is an agricultural preserve that covers about 4,500 acres. Our facility's in the middle of it, which insulates us from the development that goes on around us in the area. So location-wise, we feel we have it made here with this nice buffer zone for all of our animals. Perfect location for our purposes as a breeding and conservation facility. Armenian mouflon down in the rocks, another big rhinoceros. Her name's Ginda. She was the first Indian rhino born here. Ginda's had 8 babies and less than a year ago became a great-grandmother. So we now have 4 generations living here on the premises. And I think that says a good bit about the quality of care these animals receive. They're living longer here in captivity at the animal park than they do in the wild. We have a mom and baby rhinoceros up ahead of us in the deep draw. Females have a gestation of 16.5 months. The calves have an average birth weight of 140 to 150 pounds. Some calves consume as much as 9 gallons of mother's milk each day. And they do gain approximately 100 pounds a month for the first 2 years of their life. We have one rhino being hand-raised in the Animal Care Center right now, gaining 6 pounds a day. Buck antelope, you saw 2 males earlier. These are females, tan with white stomachs. Males are almost black with the white stomachs and spiral horns. And when males and females of the same species differ color-wise like this, it's referred to as sexual dichromism. Now, right below the nose of the monorail is another sexually dichromatic species called the nilgai. The word itself means blue bull, and the males are kind of a steel gray blue. The females are light brown. Very pretty. They're almost horse-like in their appearance. Nilgai. A couple of deer up here, newcomers to the park, have been here about a month now. They're called Indo-Chinese Saiga. We're going to leave the Asian plains and continue our safari into East Africa. That's also going to be coming up on the right-hand side. Dark brown animals on the right are called the fossil water bucks, and in the wild they live in marsh and swamp areas. They have such oily coats that water just rolls right off their backs. The fossil water bucks. Now we're entering North Africa on the left, where we have desert dwellers, and right on. They're also known as Barbary sheep, and the two in this trio with their backsides directly to us are engaged in combat. They go shoulder to shoulder and then hook their horns together and try and leverage the other one to the ground. And this can go on for quite some time. Oudads are also known as Barbary sheep. There's less than 200 of them in the world right now. They're from Egypt, Morocco, the Sudan, and the Sahara. Barbary sheep, or Oudads. Now, up ahead of us on the left, scimitar horned oryx, and researchers call them true desert dwellers. You see, they drink water if it's available. It's just not necessary for their survival, and that's because they're able to get all the moisture their bodies require from the little bits of vegetation they find in the desert, or more commonly by licking dew out of their coats in the morning. Now, the researchers tracking them in the wild, documenting their behavior, have followed one group now that's gone over 2 years without taking a drink of water. Very amazing survival adaptation for the scimitar horned oryx. There's a Barbary red deer making her way up to the crest of the hill, and these are the only deer that live in Africa, more specifically North Africa, around Tunisia. And I am going to be making a trip to Tunisia to the Barbary Deer Project in February, spending some time with scimitar horned oryx, oudads, and of course these Barbary deer. So come back. If necessary, they go many, many days without food or water. When they go without food, they get energy from the fat they store in the hump on their back. So that's not a water tank, as you might have believed. A drink of water for one of these camels would be anywhere from 20 to 25 gallons at a time. And they are quite notorious for spitting at you if they're annoyed. They spit very accurately, some 20 feet, something the consistency of rubber cement with a foul odor. Trumpetery camels. Look to your right into East Africa. They look like big boys, somewhere between 800 and 1,000 pounds. Now, despite their tremendous size and weight, they are surprisingly agile, and they run 30 miles an hour. We've had the best success in the world with their breeding here at the park. We've had 85 babies in 26 years. To fully appreciate that number, I want you to know there were only approximately 20 of them worldwide in the late 1920s. Because of the species survival plan and being able to share the gene pool, there is closer to 8,000 of them today. So this is another species that has literally come from the brink of extinction to an almost secure status because of carefully monitored breeding programs like ours. We have 13 of them in the exhibit right now, including some expectant others.
Does the temperature here in San Diego
additional fee, these tours are available to anybody 8 or older, and basically what they amount to is you're in the back of the truck with a guide to answer your questions, and you come out here and hand feed rhinos and giraffes. It's an amazing experience, and there's a phone number in the park brochure. And as you can see, the giraffes kind of think of this as the good humor wagon and follow it around begging for goodies. Now the species of giraffes that we're seeing at this truck are called Baringos, and they're the tallest. They'll stand up to 18 feet.
8 years older.
Baringos, well, all giraffes actually, like people, have only 7 vertebrae in their necks. And to move blood to 7 or 8 feet from their chest to their brain, they have a heart the size of a football that weighs approximately 30 pounds. Baringo giraffes. A little closer to us in the dry grass, we have Thompson's gazelles with the black stripe on the side. On the right is 97 acres in size. These brown animals with the curving horns are one of the more aggressive of the antelope. They're called sable. They've been known to kill lions. They wait till the predator's just about on top of them and then very suddenly drop to their front knees, lower their head, and let the predator land on their horns and pay themselves. With the white face, this is a blessbok, a relative to the wildebeest. The blessbok.
The town animals are constant eland, second largest
Of the antelope. Now these eland weigh somewhere between 14 and 1,600 pounds, and they're capable of jumping an 8-foot fence from a standing start. Patterson's eland. They weigh over 300 pounds, and their horns average 4 feet in length. In certain ways, the gemsbok move in the sunlight. Their coats reflect sandy brown to lavender gray. The gemsbok. There are a couple of ostriches ahead of us below the fence line. I was hoping they'd kind of move our direction, because as I continue on, we'll get to see them. We have about a dozen of them in the exhibit, however. Ostriches are definitely not a bird you want to mess with. Even though they're portrayed in a comedic fashion, these birds become very aggressive as they mature. They stand over 9 feet tall and weigh in excess of 350 pounds, and they can run 40 miles an hour. You get to see those powerful legs as we go forward. Their legs are powerful enough to crush a lion's skull with 1 or 2 good kicks. Probably the reason that they're portrayed in a comedic fashion is because they have a brain just slightly larger than a quarter. Now, this certainly doesn't make them the sharpest tool in the shed, but it does make them entertaining to watch because they do some very bizarre things. Endangered species. Their hides have been turning up here and there as phonebook covers. And they obviously have much wider stripes on the hindquarters than the grays we were looking at earlier. The Hartmann's mountain zebras are in very close proximity to the reticulated giraffes that you see at the bottom of the embankment by the chain link fence. Reticulated is a term that actually means net-like, and that of course describes that white net-like pattern over their bodies. We have a couple of expectant mothers in this group. Giraffes deliver their calf while they're standing, which means their babies fall approximately 6 feet head first into their new world. Now keep in mind that the fall is what breaks the umbilical cord, and the baby's impact with the ground gets it breathing. So nature's actually worked things out pretty well for them. Reticulated giraffes. Sitting on the boulders below this right-hand fence line are a couple of Leadbetter's ground hornbills, and they're nice enough to share their exhibit with the greater kudu down near the bottom of the enclosure. Kudu are extremely shy and solitary species. We had originally tried them in the South African exhibit, and it was so stressful for them to be that close to the other animals they didn't reproduce at all. endangered species of sheep called Trans-Caspian earings. Darker browns, smaller in size and closer to the fence line, full-grown Indian hog deer. They're only about 25 inches tall. Indian hog deer. Now the European fallow deer just ahead are spotted or solid, white to black, all the different shades and colors in between. The males have a palmated or paddle-like antler, which is usually associated with larger species like caribou or moose. European fallow deer. Sika with the nice antlers. Females gathered around the feed trough. And the kind of mahogany-colored animals are North Indian muntjac. Heritage deer from China, and this is a species that's been extinct in the wild now for almost 1,700 years. That's an absolute miracle that they've survived all this time in private collections, mostly in Europe. Now, Pair-Davids are the only deer where males shed and regrow rather significant antlers twice a year instead of once. Their antlers grow anywhere in the range of 1 to 2 inches a day. Valley. We have our own holding ponds and water treatment plants on the premises, and we now recycle and reuse all the water in the park in our irrigation system. So we've become pretty much self-contained, and we're quite proud of our conservation efforts in this area as well. Always enjoy mentioning that when I get the opportunity. Now the waterfall pretty much marks the farthest point out in our tour. And as we cross the bridge, you have another extremely hazy view across the San Pasqual Valley. There are 4 full-time veterinarians on staff here. More cases of injuries, looking for any possible predator problems or newborn babies. Now coming up below us here, this is obviously a cousin to the North American bison. That's about 1/3 smaller in size. These are called Wisent or European bison, and they used to live all over Europe. Overhunting and disease was so severe for them. At one point there were only 14 of them left. We've had over 80 born here at the park, and a few years ago 50 of them were reintroduced to the forests of Poland where they're doing quite well. Another of our success stories. Wisent or European bison. This is amazing, isn't it? Talk about camouflage. They are exceptional rock climbers. From the bottom fence line to the top fence line is almost 200 feet. Even the kids and the lambs can cover that distance in just 17 seconds. If necessary, the keepers go up and down these rocks till they account for every one of them every single day. During birthing season, this is a real nightmare. A lot of fun for us at any rate. That's Mountain. In the wild, these vultures, of course, are part of nature's cleanup crew. And as carrion eaters, their heads and necks spend a lot of time around decaying carcasses. That's why there's no feathers in that part of their body. This, you see, lets the sun get in there to sanitize against bacteria. Northern white rhinos named Nola and Naughty. Now, previously you saw the southern white rhinos, and before that, Indian rhinos. These, once again, are northern white rhinos. And because of poaching and habitat destruction, they're now the most endangered land mammals on the planet. There's only 37 of them worldwide. 9 are in captivity, and they're, of course, part of the species survival plan. And I want you to know that everything that can possibly be done to promote a successful breeding program for them is still being done. However, the situation just recently has taken a turn for the worse, and we were informed in a meeting a few months ago with curators that this species isn't going to make it, and they could be extinct within the next 3 years. And I don't tell you something like that to make you sad or to shock you. But sometimes when you hear the term endangered, you just don't realize how desperate the situation is for some species until it's personalized like this. You're here looking at it, and all of a sudden you might realize this might be the last time you see this species outside the textbook. Personally, I think we all have a responsibility in conservation in some way or another. Most certainly in educating our children to reduce, reuse, and to recycle. Out here with Przewalski's horse in '68. There were just 17 of them in captivity, and they were all in different locations around the world. So once again, implementing the species survival plan and being able to share that little gene pool, there's more like over 1,100 of them today. So this is a situation where we were able to catch the numbers in time, and because of the ages of the animals, we were able to turn this situation around. Between the park and the zoo, we've had 102 babies born. We've been able to make 2 shipments to China, and that herd's going to be released into the wild very soon, which is quite an accomplishment. These really are true wild horses, folks. They've never been tamed or domesticated. They even have 2 additional chromosomes that domestic horses don't have. Przewalski's horses. Now, on the right here, these are Ellipson water bucks, and if that isn't the worst birthmark that nature could get them to live with, I don't know what is. On target, right on their rear end. Poor things. This is actually known to be what they call an imprint marking. It's the first thing the babies learn to recognize on mom, and they follow the circle wherever it goes. It's not getting to see animals up close when they want to because of the size of the enclosures. Up ahead on the left, I see at least one of our approximately a ton smaller than the other rhinos that you've seen here this afternoon. But we had to provide them their own exhibit away from everyone else because they're the most aggressive and the most unpredictable. Black hair on the tips of their ears. None of these birds belong to us. These are all friendly freeloaders. We have a highly successful free-launch program for our local wildlife. I think the park is supporting a rabbit and ground squirrel population alone estimated somewhere around this age. They're very well-fed rodents. Now, across the lagoon, you're seeing the heart of Africa. This is a 30-acre walk-through exhibit that has about 200 birds and animals in it. And it is a little surprising how close you can get to some of them. There's a spot down there where you might be able to feed the giraffes from the hiking trail. It's certainly worth a walk down there. Very beautiful location, the heart of Africa. Now, some rather dramatic appearance with the dark mask around the face. Well, antelope. They live next door to rainforest dwellers. These are bongos. The vertical white stripes on the bongo in the wild blend in perfectly with the shafts of light that filter down through the canopy. Now you can see how it works for them on the back fence line, how they blend in with the slats of wood. This was actually so efficient for them in the wild, they weren't discovered until 1906. Very recent discovery and a pretty strong argument for preserving habitat. Rainforest dwellers called bongos. To the left of the 5-year-old and almost down into the...
Whoops. There's Mark with his new ears. Having a great time in San Diego Animal Park.
We are on our way out of the San Diego Wildlife Park. Or at the Aviation Museum. Here's the guns. 2 of them. This is San Diego, Harbor Village.
San Diego downtown. Downtown San Diego. This is the nighttime here. Store here too. Does it say record on it, or you get the rip? Is it when it's saying RECs when it's recording? Okay, then we're recording. This is the big line down here. San Diego. All lit up down here. Lit up. There's a taxi cab, San Diego taxi cab. There's the Hall of Justice. The windshield wipers might help. There we go. This is downtown San Diego. This must be a hotel here. And then we're coming around the bend here. Come to Macy's.
Bath and Body Works.
This is Macy's here. No, it's not. Those are newspaper stands. Downtown life. San Diego Road. Bath and Body Works. I know I saw Macy's somewhere. Must be this next street. Is Macy's. This is Bath Body Works here.
This is Hollywood, Planet Hollywood.
Get in the right lane, honey. Turn right.
We went down here already.
Way up here. Oh, what does that say?
St. James. Ramada.
The street is really weird. They have all these really nice looking houses. Not houses, but establishments. This one up on the right up here. Look at those buildings.
It's like in Europe.
This looks like Europe. Yeah, right through here.
Here we are at the world-famous San Diego Zoo. Lifelong dream and vision of Becky Huba. And now this reality has come today. The sun is shining and it's a great day here in San Diego, California. And we're going to be showing you some wonderful things in the zoo today. Things that will bring back memories of childhood, of days gone by, and today.
Here we are at the San Diego Zoo with Becky Huba. We're just so glad that we can be here and share this glorious day with you. How's it feel to be finally at the San Diego Zoo, Becky?
Oh, it's just wonderful. I'm so thrilled.
Well, we're going to go on inside here now, and we're going to show you some wonderful things, and we're going to share the day together. All right? This is the artificial rainforest. We're on our way to the pandas. Here we are at the sea lions. Here we are at the lions. Big cats.
staff will actually go out of their way to avoid contact. Even though they do not socialize, they do communicate with one another on a regular basis. One has to fly. Well, for pandas, that's easy. They send a long-lasting message called a scent mark. Now, a scent mark can leave that long-lasting message, which not only tells you who sent it, but how reports it, all in a scent mark. Now, both Baiyan and Shishi scent marks, it seems that males spend a little more time doing this than females do, but they all tend to mark the same spots. It's a lot like leaving a message on a community bulletin board. Now, Baiyan and Shishi are going to be here 10 more years, and the reason why they're separated is for the show. Females only come into heat once a year, sometime between January and June. The female is going to come into a less than 3 week heat cycle, and she's only fertile 1 to 3 days. Now, you would think with that very narrow margin for mating that a female wouldn't be too choosy about who her mates were. No, that's not the case. Our researchers both in wild and captive pandas find they have a definite preference for mate selection.
Orangutan. Hey, dude. How are you doing? Pretty cool dude there. Is he imitating you?
Yep.
That face, yeah.
Is this one pregnant over here?
No, that's a male one.
That's the male.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ryan, how old is the baby?
It turned
That's all right.
4 months on the 12th of this month.
Or which one's mom?
Checking out the little one, huh? Do I got a tick? Let me see. I don't think so. Yeah, there's one.
Well, what are they waiting to feed over here? Looks like all the food's set out.
Oh yeah, the thing is we give them access to this area because we have all the browse out here, all the leafy material. And they go through the browse first, and then we give them access to the next area.
Primate gorillas.
Some mutations and some craziness, you know, some mental problems in some troops, and they're now is taking in a lot of the gorillas that have mental problems, making their life a little easier at least, you know. And then they've got controls now where they're watching the genetic breeding so that they're not inbreeding and developing these problems. A little more selectivity now. It's amazing the numbers putting up with Mike and Jerry. Some time, they won't put up with it. So somebody else takes it. She does the same thing as me.
Yeah.
She has her people. I was over there showing the pictures. Oh, there's no question about it. Here's before they changed this last up there, this was corn. And I go down there and sit in the corner, and she'd be up on that rock, and she'd come and sit with her mouth.
Do you see the cube?
You don't see that in San Francisco. Not at all. I've never been.
What they're doing? Oh, they stayed under here for a long time. Look at his teeth.
Have a tour. 5 minutes.
They're black teeth, but they can really bite now.
I bet they could. Get some breath, you guys. Now see, where's the breath? Oh, there he goes.
Oh, you can see his eyes.
See his eyes in there? Here.
They both take a breath at the same time.
They did. Thank you. Help yourself and stretch. We really had a night.
They're like, man, you like. I wanted to see his eyes. I know he's like a snap out.
No, that's all goodness.
Called Moore's Gazelle. Gazelle. Gazelle.
Red River hogs. Now, what do you think about Red River hogs there?
Well, one thing to say.
Giant elands. There's Granddad.
Bad. 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 Let's go find Daddy.
Is there water on that side? Here you go, here you go, here you go. Take a picture. Take your pictures. Look how he looks now. Get ready to snap another picture of his own ball.
About 32 years old. There's been some very isolated cases of children living through the late 30s, and that's pretty rare. If you compare her moving around the cup, you can see that she's a little slower, she's had a long nap over time, and it takes her a little longer to get right where the endpoint be. I'm very comfortable. I think a lot of us here have gotten very attached to her. What we do with her now is she gets the afternoon and visit all to herself. Now when we let her out by herself, she sees all of the exhibits. She can look through it. Has a lot of minutes. I think her is a little bit on the older side. She has a short attention span. She runs from one play toy to another object out there to another there to play with, and often trips and falls in water on the way. But enjoys playing a lot also. He's not quite as active as his brother. He gets a little tired out.
He's a little nervous, isn't he? You know why? Hi there. Because he lives with the South American condor.
Indian condor in the sky tonight. Oh, dude. Yeah, he does something with it. Well, look, wings be out.
That's the nail.
You make me go take off.
Condor. Stellar sea eagle. What is it?
Abaisa oryx from Ethiopia, northern Kenya. They survive without water. They've been known to kill lions. Their horn tips are so sharp that they have been used as spear tips by human hunters.
Zebra that's got an extra stripe. It's like a light gray stripe. Gazelles. There's the prettiest flower right there. My aloe plants.
Hey, no one wants to love that Lion King, don't you? I know.
Oh, look at him. Yeah.
Yep.
Came off a tripod.
What's this called?
It doesn't say on this one here.
It's back around the corner. Some kind of deer.
African deer. And these down on the ledge down here, the lower ledge. Those are dwarf mongoose from eastern and southern Africa. I think they said that's the most, no, it's not. Predators. These are the Japanese Sero, and they're from the mountains of Japan. It's between a goat and a mountain goat and a, I don't know what else, sheep. Looks like a hog in the face.
What's this
The
called?
mountain goat. Rocky Mountain goat from Alaska.
hyenas.
Yeah, a while bit ago they were out here. Now when I'm over here, now they aren't.
From India and Africa.
Oh, it's all done. You did them all. Good job. That's why
Hi, Josh. Or is that Micah?
Yeah, he's over here on the right. They're all gonna warthogs from Africa. Remember Tumba and Kimba? Simba? Simba, Tumba, and Kimba. Look at him running.
Makuma Matala, whatever it is.
You calling me a pig?
Construction sometime in the near future, but these are known as first generation. And over on the left-hand side, you see up there, our second generation exhibits. They're much more naturalistic. And then we have the third generation, which we saw at Tiger River, much more bioclimatic and natural for the animals. We have our smaller carnivores.
I'll put him in my backyard and lock his ass down. No, he won't. I'm just leaving the issue. No, I wouldn't. I would be locked up like this. He is hungry, very hungry. No, he ain't gonna eat no pizza.
This ice cream cone cost $2. Do you believe that? And Daddy was so nice to buy it for me for a treat. It's expensive here.
Malaysian sun bears.
Southeast Asia. They're dangerous when aroused. Excellent climbers. They tear open trees with their claws to get insects and grubs.
Man, look at them claws.
Look at that tongue on that one. Stuck his tongue out. As long as his head.
Next one is called East Caucasian Tur, spelled T-U-R, and it goes down throughout parts of Asia. Now, we're doing some renovating here on the left, and I'm very excited because we're going to renovate the hardwood field to start with the birds and planting. So we're going to put the elm in here, along with the new planting along the
What do you think, Beck?
Pretty good. Halfway through, having a blast.
Uh-huh.
Alaskan brown bear.
dominant hump on the shoulder. As a matter of visually what color you're seeing, it's truly a member of the brown bear family. Just like our hair can get dark and lighter and light and stuff. Hold tight, we're going to pull forward. Now, coming in from the
Probably the kind that digs for salmon all the time. In Alaska.
Not so green. Speckled bear. Where's it from?
Sleeping, huh? You sleeping? Sleeping.
Need something.
Like a piece of fat. We are Tasmanian devil.
The inside of his ears are red.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at those teeth.
Little teeny kangaroos. You were giving them a good ear rub.
It's called a southwestern caber. It's almost extinct, and it is a mixture between a horse and a rhino family.
Hello, pretty.
Hello. Yeah.
It's a market.
Ooh, pretty. Market.
Russian cat.
It's called the black rhino from Africa. Kenya.
Bad boy. And you is ugly.
Little tiny with a big body.
He's big. He's mean looking. Bad hombre.
Watch it run.
I got him.
Uh-oh, he's aiming towards us. I feel that water on the camera.
They warn you about the rhino. It says soak zone.
All of a sudden that tail just go right up.
Shoot.
Another one over here. He's got a big one on his nose too. Yeah.
Around a mile long
It's a black rhino.
field. And if there's any animal on that field, like lions, they won't
Separated from his mother.
Yeah.
Isn't that elephant, Andre?
It's a tree kangaroo from New Guinea. Kangaroo. We are on the Sky Ride. Going over San Diego Zoo from the air. That's pretty. Oh, there's that big gorilla. Right down there is where the panda bears are at. That's their habitat. All them people looking at them. It's like a valley down in there, canyon. There's mesas all around. They have elevators, like belt walkways, to get you up and down out of the canyon, or you can walk. Now we're coming on one of the upper levels. Once we come into home. Huh?
Sit very still.
Sit still? You don't want me to rock the boat? We went on a bus like that, and they gave us a tour this morning. There's some of the different exhibits over there. Different animals on it. And we're coming in home. See you on the flip side. Yeah, we can get off and then go around. And here we're going on the flip side. Back. Down there is the polar bears. The water. Big canyon down there, guys. There's the tree house.
What is that building over there?
I'm gonna. Oh, that's up there at that museum in Balboa Park. Yeah. Is that one like a church thing there? This is where the mummies were or something. Museum of Man. Where you gonna go, babe?
Not so funny. I want you to sit still.
Oh, hang on. We're gonna bounce around now. This cable ride's got a little bit of vibration in it. Must be from the wind. Big old bird aviary coming up down below us. Beautiful. They really make this tropical out here. Hard to believe down there is all them animals. It's an amphitheater they have here for shows.
This is it, Ali. We're going down. Oh.
Went in for our landing.
Go back and get it up.
Oh, what's the matter, baby? Speak to me. Are you still alive? Now we're on our way out. It's been an eventful day. And they have just beautiful landscaping everywhere. Komodo dragon.
Claro, se come gente.
World's biggest lizard.
Vive en Indonesia. ¿De qué tamaño? Como un lagarto. Como un lagarto. Pero es el más grande de todos. Vive en Indonesia.
Oh, he wanted to get in on a picture too, huh? Come running right up here. Okay, I got your picture. He blends in.
The horned viper.
Horned viper. Man, you could miss him.
North American deserts.
Anaconda. An anaconda.
One of the world's truly huge constrictors can grow up to at least 30 feet in length.
He's from South America. Large adult ones aren't capable of killing. A huge, there he is, Mr. America. I'm ready to go home.
There's an aircraft carrier. It's like they're doing some welding on it out there. That is a big boat. Long way out there, but it looks big from here. The Coast Guard. Yep. You got sore feet.